as a quick reminder of what happened at the end of or just during our last session, as we kind of left things off, Jasper, Davroid, and Armis are at the base of the mountain range where your little cabin is, headed back up to the cabin. You found evidence of something, in Armis's words, something fishy at the circus, and you've decided to kind of leave for now and let the investigation proceed as normal with the normal Ruby Guardians, the sort of internal like town watch of Geim, and then you're going to go back the next morning when everything's been cleared out and look for clues related to the weird clues that you have found. You're going to try and follow the trail a little bit deeper, pull on some threads and see if you can find anything. At the same time, Willard and Frode, you both had sort of a face-to-face with your past baggage. Willard was confronted by someone from his past, and Frode awoke in the midst of chaos and thought he had caused it. After Davroid used a well-meaning kind of memory tampering ability, and the two of you have your different paths have led you back to the cabin, and so you are at the top of the mountain, and you have just sort of made a pact together to share your burdens. And when we left our session, we had jumped down to the base of the mountain, checked in with our other heroes, and then come back for sort of the climactic event of this scene, which is that your conversation's interrupted when someone who is eavesdropping outside the window flees into the woods. But you, players, asked for a chance to roleplay out this conversation. We rejoin Frode and Willard in the decrepit cabin you're calling home, freshly brewed peach tea in both of your hands, the newly rising moon glinting off of your magnificent golden fireplace, a small flash of golden light in an otherwise dusty, decrepit, and depressing indigo of fading blue hour, as Frode asked Willard, "Will you help me carry my burden, and I'll help you carry yours?"
Yes, I think that would be wise.
Then, let's commence with the ritual.
Indeed, let's.
All right. And Frode picks up his teacup and sets it down in front of you and motions for you to do the same.
Willard will try to identically kind of move exactly in the way that Frode is.
Very good. Now, we take a sip from each other's teacups to symbolize the bond we have created. And Frode gingerly and delicately picks up the teacup you have placed in front of him.
And Willard does the same.
And takes a somber sip with his eyes locking into yours.
Willard will
sets it back down.
Also do that and he's going to try to kind of do it at the same pace and kind of in sync with Frode.
It's a very simple ritual, but a ritual nonetheless.
I like it.
Now, I will tell you as much as I know, and maybe you can provide some advice or assistance, and then you will tell me what you know of your problems. And I will try to do the same.
I will try.
I wasn't always like this. I used to be a normal hematician when I was spry. He longingly looks out the window, his eyes lost in the starlight. Yes, that was a long time ago. Snaps back, but I had let my pride get the best of me, my curiosity. I'd always wanted to visit the Fae, live as they do, but I was just a mere mortal. I don't know what happened, but I know that I have made a grave mistake, and it has cost myself and my family dearly. I don't remember everything. I don't even know the exact reasonings of my curse, but I know that it's related to the coverings upon people's heads, and I'm just trying to find out as much as I can. Maybe if I can get back to the Fey wilds, I can find whoever I've wronged and ask for forgiveness or mercy. That's about it in a teacup.
I do not know what it would be like to not know what wrong you have committed. That sounds extremely painful. I'm very sorry.
Oh, there ain't nothing to be sorry about. Frode smiles. Warm smile. I appreciate the kind gesture, though.
I think that you have done a admirable job of setting aside your pride and trying to find a solution as opposed to wallowing in the pain.
I mean, he looks a little bashful. Looks more at the fireplace than you, and yeah, I'll have to admit, I think this group kind of helped put me on the right path. I wouldn't say I was necessarily doing that before I met you all. So there's that. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey agrees. I don't know where this journey with this merry band of misfits will take us, but I think it will take you to a better place than you were.
Maybe. Perhaps. But tell me of your woes. And he sits forward a bit, leans into the fireplace a bit. Tell me, what about you? Seems you are familiar with having wrongs in your past.
Yes, indeed. And Willard will stir the tea in front of him with his claw, kind of absent-mindedly, as he reminisces something that he doesn't enjoy reminiscing about. My tale, too, is a tale of pride and a tale of living a long life unchallenged in my temperament and my ways of thinking. I, as you may have gathered, was once a sheriff in the town of Tumbleweb, a beautiful town full of molefolk and gnomes and good law-abiding citizens. It's quiet there, and I loved it, but I had to keep the peace when troublemakers and evildoers and, gods forbid, murderers would try to disturb what we had. And as you have noticed, I do not understand or even enjoy thinking about magical doohickeys and gizmos and this artifice and building doo-wax and thingamajigs. It's unnatural
definitely a little different.
But the times were changing, and a new mayor came into town and told us we had to use these doohickeys for our police work. I said no. I refused. And so, we were chasing a murderer. There was apparently some sort of,
And he puts up his claws for like air quotes.
tracker bugged onto the murderer by one of our detectives. I didn't care. I didn't bother to check my tracker. What's a doohickey gonna tell me that I can't already see? I saw a mole that fit the description. I charged after him. He ran. It looked like he was... I swear, it looked like he was drawing a weapon.
Frode sits upright. Apt in listening. What happened next?
And Willard will set down his tea and just, he won't look at Frode. He's staring deep into the fireplace.
I killed him. I threw my knife, it hit true. I went to the body. It was not our man. And I ran. I was mortified. I was ashamed. I ran from Tumbleweb and haven't set foot there since.
Frode reaches a hand out to touch your small shoulder, practically nearly encompassing you. His hands, and he thinks better of it and just puts out a finger to tap your shoulder.
And Willard will withdraw a little bit from that touch for a moment, and he'll say,
I don't know how to make it right, and at the same time, I'm too scared to go back.
and then he'll kind of lean on Frode's outstretched finger.
Well, it's quite the burden you've got there. Oh. Excuse me, I was holding my breath and smoke caught in my lung.
It's all right. Here, have more tea.
Oh, thank you.
As the fire leaps into being in your fireplace for another few seconds, your only real warmth or daylight or whatnot that is being added into there. The fire leaps up and there's this kind of beautiful moment of you handing more tea. And as you're handing the tea to Frode, Willard, in the reflection of the fire glinting off of the side of the tea, like the jug, that your big tea jug, in the reflection, you think you see maybe somebody, like maybe a person or a creature or something outside the window. You turn around immediately, but they are gone. All that you see looking out is, the stillness of the night out there, and You hear maybe 1 or 2 soft footfalls way off in the distance as like a little bush is getting, kind of pushed out of the way, or as they leap through a tree and a branch snaps or something. And then you hear nothing else. And you know what that means? It means it's story time at the Winged Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
The hell is this?
The world of Urda has regressed, Jasper. Whatever else happened 100 years ago, magic is wild now, and that's dangerous for everyone. If I send soldiers or even the Guardians, the world of Urda will see a conquest no matter what I say. But we can't control a mercenary company.
Okay, what are you proposing?
Am I supposed to look at the camera, look away? I don't understand these things.
If you're doing something wrong, I'm gonna find you.
And then he just pretends to fall over and goes, "Ow, I have been injured."
You hear him say "king me" as he throws down a full house on the tape. He looks pretty feeble, but one time someone saw a kid try and mess with him and he slapped him really hard with the cane.
So there's supposed to be what? Some kind of arcane janitorial squad? Who's gonna lead a team like this? No, don't look at me!
She says she's sick and tired of love, she just want more. I know they didn't think that we would make it this far. I know they didn't think that we would take it this far.
Welcome back to the Winged Badger Tavern, where friends tell stories. Tonight, I'm joined by some of my friends. Friends, introduce yourselves.
Hello, I am Jake, and I play the very complex character of Willard Taffy, a exiled, what is he? He's an exiled dirt speaker who throws with deadly accuracy. That's what he is.
Hello, I am Mike, and I play Armis Thrupp, a sharp-eyed spider speaker who works in the back alleys.
Hello, I am
This is you, Trevor.
I'm Trevor. I play Davroid Gravelheart, a tier 2 perceptive dwarf speaker who separates mind from body.
And hello, I'm Cleo. I play Frode the Forsaken, who never interrupts anybody ever, and is a tongue-tied imitation explorer who fucked around and found out with the Fae.
And I'm Josh, your Winged Badger Game Master. I play everybody else. Without further ado, let's jump back into tonight's adventure at the Winged Badger Tavern. We jump back in following not Willard and Frode, who have just noticed this figure outside their window. We follow instead our friends Armis and Davroid, along with Chasm Jasper, your kind of boss slash ringleader, I guess, who are walking up the path through the mountains, and you've just gotten to where you can see the cabin in the distance. You see sort of a friendly burst of flame from Jeffrey, the magical fire. That's not flame. Flame from Jeffrey, the magical fireplace, burst up into the sky, and then nothing else. The window through which your companions would have seen somebody was behind the cabin. So you're walking up as they are realizing it, and so we rejoin the scene as Jasper opens the door and, all right, welcome back. Hey, what's going on up here? How we feeling, boys?
Did you come from that direction?
No, we just came up the path. He points back at the path behind him.
If you were not coming from that direction, we have been watched.
What? Frode, first time he's hearing this, is like looks around. From where?
From that window, or at least my eyes are not. I mean, they're keen in this darkness, and I saw in the reflection of the teenager.
That window over there?
Yes.
Is this something we want to pursue, or are we calling it for the night?
We should probably take a look before the trail goes away. There's weather rolling in this evening. Let's just take a quick look around and see if we can spot any tracks.
Alrighty.
Jasper's gonna walk outside with you, but he's not the pro at tracking people, so he's kind of he's there, but he's not an expert at this.
I found tracks when I was walking back to the circus from the lake, and I'm wondering if this is related.
It looks similar. Can we find it?
Yeah, I'd like to make an intellect roll to look for tracks.
You don't know anything about the creature, so you have no idea what the difficulty is on this roll.
That's fine. Is it eased because I'm an investigator?
If you're going to lean into your investigative skill, then it can be. This is part of the cipher system. You guys tell me how you're going to make your check easier. I will only rebel against you if it's too much of a stretch.
I would like to use my abilities as a detective to ease the task.
Davroid Gravelheart, well accustomed to the investigative process, notebook in one hand, getting ready to do some scouring, rolling an intellect check to pick up any trail of whoever this creature might have been.
I got a 14.
You got a 14. A 14's pretty good. You do spot the indents in the ground from humanoid feet, so that this is a bipedal creature that was standing upright or crouching, presumably by the window of your cabin. You don't see any tracks leading to there, and you don't see any tracks leading away. However, on a 14, you do get the idea that the tracks don't look like a creature that was sitting still. They look like a creature that was about to jump, and so you have the impression that this creature has leapt away from here, either up and across the roof of the cabin, or perhaps using some level of magic they were able to leap back into the tree line or something, but you probably won't find like a trail if this creature is leaping through the woods. Like, it'd be like a needle in a haystack trying to figure out which tree did they land on or whatever.
Do they look the same or similar to the ones I saw earlier?
They do. In fact, you notice that the particular boot tread of the pattern is you don't know the manufacturer or anything, but it's the same.
Yeah.
So it's either like a faction where they're all wearing uniforms, or it's the same creature.
Okay, I will pull out my notebook and quickly sketch the boot print, as not to forget it and to compare to for future tracks.
Perfect.
And then write down like the approximate shoe size and just like outside window pointing away, potentially leapt or flew using magic.
Great. And so we'll say, 5 or 10 minutes are kind of consumed in this process of locating the tracks and taking your notes. And now the group kind of has regrouped in front of the cabin. So you're standing just in front of, if there's not a door, there's just a big hole in the cabin that Frode opened when he thought he was going to feed the fireplace a treat. But there's, your hole that you use as a door and the dusty cabin interior. And you've all kind of formed up, and Jasper's trying to figure out what, your next move is. I don't know if you guys have a particular plan on how you want to move forward with this. I mean, we've got some options. We could go back tomorrow to the crime scene at the base of the mountain and look for clues that the others missed. They didn't have the lead that Davroid found of the caltrop that got shot at that unicorn to kind of set off the stampede, so there might be something they weren't looking for that we could pick up on. We could head back into the city of Geim and see if we can find any high-profile targets. I know, Armis, you mentioned that maybe this whole thing could have been a cover-up for like an attack of opportunity on maybe an important person. So you might be able to head back into the city and find that out. Or maybe we could explore the mountain range once the weather rolls through and see, in tomorrow's light, maybe we can pick up the trail on this creature. I don't know if any of those sound good to you. What I'm thinking for me is I need to go and make a report to the Queen tomorrow, both on the work we've done, try and requisition some more resources for us, and I got to see if I can get you all a door. I mean, it just doesn't seem right.
Well, I mean, I am open to multiple of those options, but I will say, especially if it were to be myself included on the tracking side of going into the forest or the mountains, I am much better at tracking in the dark. Although, Davroid, maybe you have that covered, as you obviously are very adept at doing what you just did. So,
well, there were boot prints and there wasn't a trail per se, so they either leapt, flew, or used some sort of teleportation magic to get away. And so finding any sort of trails, unless we really know the woods or know the direction that they went, will be very difficult.
Is it possible? Can I try and look like one more time outside and see if I can look? I don't know if there's any trees above, or see if there's like something that might have snagged or broken whenever they leapt up.
Yeah. So knowing that the success on a 14 is essentially a difficulty 4 task that Davroid succeeded on and got that information, we'll say if you roll above a difficulty 5, then you're able to find something that Davroid didn't, or maybe see a different angle on things.
Yeah. Gotcha. And if it helps, being a sneaky little guy, I'm trained in, I've got sharp-eyed, and then I have extra training in perception actions.
So training will ease your task by 1 step, or if you're specialized, 2 levels of training, then that eases it by 2 steps.
I think that would be 2 if they're two separate things. The sharp-eyed is because you must always keep an eye out while you're traveling. You are trained in all tasks related to perception and navigation.
Makes sense to me.
And then there's a separate, so maybe that's 2. All right, we're going to give it a shot. He's going to look around. Oh, 16 on the dice.
16 on the dice. That is a success on a DC 5 task. Never mind the fact that you eased it a couple steps. You are able to see a couple of tree trunks that are kind of like bent a little bit too far, and so you get the general direction that this creature went when they left. You only see the first 2 or 3 that they leapt on just because of how dense the forest is, but you're above it looking down, and so you can kind of see where they left to get back down into the mountains. It looks like they headed off towards kind of like a gully or a ravine, and then over that way it's too far for you to make out any details. As you're looking in that direction, this is the fault of the chat. As you're looking in that direction, Frode and Willard and Davroid, you're kind of waiting for Armis to turn back to the group. He's maybe stepped around the corner of the cabin to stand where the person was and see if he can figure out where they went. As that's happening, the 3 of you, along with Jasper, feel a sudden rumbling at your feet. You hear a tree begin splitting in the center as it just kind of falls apart from the center of the tree, just bursts outward. So you get like, if you've ever peeled a string cheese, it's like that, except they're all fully grown like sequoias coming tumbling down onto where everything is. And this gust of wind begins spinning around the spot and kind of roaring up into this large tornado. I see a hand up. What's up, Frode? You're muted.
I'm going to immediately unmute myself and use my body to cover the people around me.
Okay. Roll a might check to protect them from a falling tree. This is going to be a difficulty of... Trevor, roll a d6. 3. Difficulty of 3. So that's a target roll of 9.
I got a 19. I didn't need it.
Holy smokes.
Nice. With your 19, that's a success with a minor effect. So you are easily able to protect the other 3 creatures as the sequoia begins kind of tumbling down towards you and this sort of mini tornado begins spiraling upwards. What would you like your minor effect to do? As a reminder, this is a tweak to the scene that doesn't resolve a conflict of any kind.
I'd just like the other sequoias to fall harmlessly and perhaps towards the woods, and the one I catch it and place it down gently on the ground.
Cool. Yeah, Jeffrey will be pleased. You catch the sequoia that falls towards you and you place it gently on the ground with just kind of like a heavy as it sets down on the mountain path. And now there is just this raging tornado in front of all of you. What will you all do?
I want to go inside.
I'm too tired for this. Is there? I don't mean to push you, Frode, but you're a pretty sturdy guy. 7. Do you think you could just walk in there and see 6, what's going on? I feel the rest of us are just gonna blow away.
I'll try. I walk straight on in.
You walk straight into the tornado.
Attaboy!
Frode, as you get to the outer edge of this gust of wind, it is just kind of slashing against you with like bits of debris and stuff, which don't really do anything because you're made of rock, so like scratching damage is not that big of a deal. You will need to succeed on a might task of 3 just to get through the sheer force of the wind pushing back against you. So that's going to be a might task of 3 for me to get into the center of the tornado and see what might be there.
I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm at it, use my iron muscles ability.
Okay.
Takes a few might points. Just eases the tasks of any might-related thing. Take the free edge on top of that.
So it's a difficulty 1 task with a target roll of 3.
You never be too careful. I rolled 12. See if I didn't roll that 12.
There it is.
Careful, Frode!
Frode walks up, and I mean, it doesn't even hardly feel like anything to you, Frode. You're a big, heavy, Hematetian rock guy, and like you are not to be bothered by small, paltry things like wind. You step into the middle of the tree trunk, and you find that there is, at the center of the tornado, there is a very, very tiny creature, like maybe the size of your pinky. It is a little bipedal creature with little wings shooting off the side, bright green. It appears to be in a great deal of confusion and distress, fluttering in circles, caught in the tornado. And it's like waving its hands, and it looks like maybe a little like tree spirit or dryad or something has been kind of thrown out of sorts, and this tornado has kind of erupted out of the scenario.
Well, hey, now, let's calm down. It's gonna be all right. Now, look at me. I'm nice and solid. I'm not moving. And Frode freezes his hands as he says that. I'm not moving. I'm here. I'm a point of stability. Look at me. Look at me. I'm here. You're gonna be okay. All right? The tree, your home, has been sundered. I understand. You're lost. There's a whirlwind around you. But I am here to stabilize your life.
Frode, I can't hear you, but you completely stopped moving. Is everything okay?
Now, bear with me. I'm gonna have to yell back to my compatriots. Well, hunky-dory over here.
As soon as you start yelling, it spooks the creature, and the tornado has this kind of pulse outwards. Everybody else needs to succeed on a might task of 3 to avoid being blown off of your feet and taking 2 points of might damage.
Oh, jeez. What do we got to roll?
Might.
I got a 16.
Can I make a speed roll to just like jump or like outrun
No,
it?
because it's the height of a tornado, so it's not like you can dodge it. It's it's like from the ground to like 40 feet in the air is just this pulse that's coming towards you.
Yo, I can jump that.
I would like to
Got the vertical.
I would like to spend an effort.
Willard has an inability, but he still succeeded because he rolled a 14.
I got a 12.
All 3 of you are able to like keep your feet, but it jackets are flaring up behind you. Luckily for Willard, he's not wearing his hat or it would be gone. But just like kind of a big pulse shoots out of the tornado. You turn back to the dryad and it's like cowering. It's it's like fallen to the ground and it's holding on to the stump and like trying to cower in like a little crack of the stump looking up towards you.
Oh, all right. Let's all settle down now. And Frode takes very deliberate and slow steps to slowly but surely sit down in a crisscross applesauce fashion like he learned in kindergarten. And it's like, all right. I see you're scared. Tell me, do you understand me? Nod if you understand.
Roll an intellect task to attempt to make yourself understood to this creature, this little woodland being.
Unfortunately, all tasks involving verbal communication or relaying information are hindered.
So that's a difficulty 4.
Hell yeah.
Take.
Does me being the only thing not moving too much in their point of view help at all?
You're making very deliberate efforts. We'll ease it by a step for you.
Okay. Let's go. I can't bring my camera. It doesn't have a long enough cord, but I got it at 20.
Nice.
Let's go.
If you spent any points on effort, you get them back. And you also get a major effect. So in addition to this creature understanding you, it slowly nods. You get kind of a major effect here that you can add to the scene as well.
As the creature nods, the wind dissipates and the sky above clears as moonlight lays down upon the stump of this tree. Hey now, it ain't that bad now, is it?
As the little dryad creature like crawls out and like like a grasshopper like perches on your finger or whatever, you see that there are little wisps or tendrils of kind of excess magic that have been kind of tangled around its wings, that are a cipher that you could pull off of there to kind of release the creature from its situation.
Oh, let me get that off your wings for you. Now just stay still. I got big hands and you're a small little creature.
The rest of you cannot see the dryad. You can only see Frode sitting crisscross applesauce.
There's no more wind?
Yes.
Right? Or is okay. Oh, okay.
I use my pinky and I just slowly twirl in a calm and almost loving fashion. And I pull away the tendrils of the magic wrapped around my pinky.
Excellent. Are you absorbing the cipher, or are you trying to just pull it off of the creature?
Frode isn't thinking that far ahead, so he's just pulling it off the creature.
It's going to absorb then. You would have to be deliberately acting to try and not.
Okay, then I absorb it.
Yeah.
Zoom, zoom.
You have a cipher of wind gust, power level 3. You can summon a gust of wind that does all the things you just observed. So it can force enemies back. It could catch debris and fling it, but it's, a single action. So you use it and it's consumed.
You want me to try to get you a new home?
The creature looks up at you. It's got these kind of big bulbous insectoid eyes. And it looks out at the night, and then it sort of just flutters away and zooms off into the woods.
Well, come say hello whenever you get the chance. All right. Well, and Frode just gets up and 1 step, 2 steps, stands straight up, and turns around. He's like, well, I think that made me feel better after today's chaos.
What happened?
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Oh, you know how it is. It was just like how the spirits and all that, and some sort of little tree spirit got a little tangled up with a massive magic, and you know how these things are.
There we go. God, I'm tired.
It is well past midnight, and I need to get some sleep. So I'm going to turn in for the night. I'll head back into Geim in the morning. You guys think about what you want to do, and tomorrow we can, go off and do our work. Remember, if you go into the city of Geim, they cannot, people in your normal lives can't know what you're doing up here. This is a covert thing. So you're going to have to come up with some good cover terms or lies or whatever, whatever it's going to take to mask and obfuscate what you're up to up here. So just keep that in mind. I'm out.
We'll get
Yes, sir, Ruby God, sir.
When have we done anything but be subtle, Jasper?
I like that kind of thing.
He does not deign to answer, but as you ask, in the distance, your fireplace erupts with a huge tunnel of fire up into the night.
Well, I would like to sleep.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
A lot's happened.
I think I'm just gonna take a quick smoke out of my little cliff and then go the hell to bed.
I'll catch up with y'all. I'm just gonna do a little busy work.
Sounds good.
I'm going to dig a hole and sleep in it now.
And Willard will go back to the cabin.
I'm going to follow Frode here.
Time for a door. And Frode takes deliberate time and effort to gather the fallen trees. No real craftsmanship here. He will take one of his thick stone arms and hoist up one of the logs and then just bring down the other, crushing it until he gets roughly all about the same height, and then grabbing some rotted rope, kind of ties them together, and doesn't have a hinge, doesn't have a doorknob. He just kind of places it in front of the hole, and he's like, yes, a door if I've ever seen one.
Can I on my way out, if I'm seeing that, can I just try and make some spider webs with my belly button, either help hold the door together or use them as the hinges?
Sure. You can try. Roll an intellect task to see if you can figure out a way to use spider webs as hinges of a door. The door, which I'll remind you, is just a sixth of a sequoia punched down to size. So it's not like it's lightweight.
And need I remind you that spider webs are some of the strongest things on the planet.
I think the hinge part is what he has hard time believing.
It's sticky. It sticks to the side, and then it's like a little spring. It's a 13, and I don't think I've got anything super great.
I don't think a 13 is enough.
Oh my
You
god!
could stick the door so that it's stuck there, but then it would be a wall.
I just goop on the door and say, happy to help.
Willard will hear all of this commotion, and Willard was in his little sleeping hole, but he'll get back up and he'll go out to see the door building in progress. And when he sees that they're having some trouble trying to get the hinge to stick, he'll,
Well, when we make a home in Tumbleweb for dirt folk, we sometimes want to make, it's all made out of dirt.
and he'll kind of start like demonstrating how the dirt folk make a door, like just kind of drawing stuff in the sand or in the dirt and all this stuff. And he's going to use his ability called Anecdote, where for the next hour, you two are trained in making this door.
Making a door out of dirt.
Making a door. Do we have to specify out of dirt, or can it just be making a door?
You specified that it was made out of dirt.
I know. Look. I know, this reminds me, I do know some trapdoor spiders that can actually make an effective door out of web and stuff that they find around. It's a novel concept that such a strong material can be so utilitarian and so multi-purpose. It's really crazy. Thank you for the reminder of that.
Of course.
And that costs 2 from my intelligence pool to do that, but it is from my intellect pool. But now you are eased by 1 step trying to get this door
Done. Yep. Eased it. Great.
Can we have a door now? Can we have a working
We have
door?
a door. It's got hinges. We don't know what they're made of. We don't talk about what they're made of. They're just hinges. We got hinges.
It's beautiful. Look at that.
Wow, that was impressive, Armis.
Be ashamed to put so much effort in and for it to not work.
That was very impressive.
Didn't Jasper say that he was going to get us a door?
Yes, he did say that was part of his plans the next day.
I'm just gonna be so excited.
We're very self-motivated.
No, that was in character. That was in character, Josh.
Sorry.
Well, he can find out that he's going to come here and see we have a better door than anything he can offer.
You'll be very impressed.
And I think it'll certainly make an impression on him.
Absolutely.
That is what I meant.
I can't wait to see his face. I'm gonna go take a smoke.
All right.
That's good.
I'll wrap up my job here. Sorry to wake you up, Willard.
It's all right. I realized I have one thing I want to do still.
And Willard will open the new door and close it behind him as he goes to his little sleeping spot. And in his little sleeping spot, what he's done with his hat is thus far, he has just kind of put his hat below eye level from the dirt. Like he has a little tunnel that he's dug down, and his hat is just kind of deeper down the tunnel where Frode won't see it. But what he's doing now is he takes the hat and he actually brings it to the bottom of his little tunnel and kind of digs a little extra further, puts the hat down at the bottom and covers it up with some dirt. And where he was keeping his hat next to where he was sleeping, he puts his little stuffed spider bear instead.
Oh.
And he lays down for bed.
Oh, have an XP. That's really cute.
Thank you.
The chat says the door you crafted from peanut butter and lawn clippings. Okay. Mike, do we need to follow Armis? Does he have stuff to do this evening, or can we skip to the morning?
There's just one little thing I want to do while he's out there. He's just gonna go out there. He's going out to chill, but as he goes to his spot, does he see that one cloud that doesn't move? Is that still there?
That cloud is still there to the west, near the village of Hembly-Hoo.
Can he take Hembly-Hoo? Wait, is that where the little like elves and whatnot are? That was with the unicorn junk that they were being talked
He
about.
put pieces together. Yes, there is a fellow in Hembly-Hoo who grows the fey grasses or provides the fey grasses to the carnival.
Is there? I obviously can't travel all the way over there, but can I try and just like decipher at least a little bit what's going on with this cloud, whether or not it's going to kill us or if it's just a permanent thing to make magic rain?
Make an intellect roll with a difficulty of 8.
Okay.
Target roll of 24.
I am going to, this will probably only use it a teeny bit, but I have an ability, understanding, you observe or study a creature object, next interaction with that creature object gains 1 asset.
Cool. So you
Does that
study
mean-
it for a bit, and then you try and decipher what it is.
What
so you
the
use
hell is
use it by
that?
1 step to difficulty 7 with a target roll of 21.
21. Great.
Intellect.
I'm gonna smoke my cigarette real hard. I'm gonna put a little bit of effort in there.
Okay.
Can I use 2 effort on that?
You sure can. If you're a tier 2 character, then you can.
Yeah.
That brings it from a 7 down to a 5 with a target roll of 15.
What the hell are you? That's the strongest 6 I've ever rolled in my life, please. I just want to... What's the cloud?
I'm sorry, but you have no idea. It's weird that it's out there and you think there's magic involved. You're like, this cloud is an unexplainable magical phenomenon. There probably ought to be a team to address those.
I've smoked through an entire pack of cigarettes just staring at this cloud, staying up much longer than I wanted to. I feel like I can figure it out.
As you're staring at that cloud, the weather that Jasper was warning about does roll in across the mountains. They're just quick little mountain squalls, but a little storm kind of rolls overhead and some rain falls down for a little bit.
I'll get you tomorrow, cloud.
I would like to say, I do make a little tiny shrine out of the seeds of the sycamores that have fallen, and I leave it next to the door. Windowsill! Sorry, I was almost messed up. That would have been terrible.
The morning comes, and as the sun graces the horizon and you all begin stirring, the golden rays on one side of your face, the reflection of your golden fireplace on the other side of your face, you kind of stir. Jasper is gone already. He's left a note with a reminder on it to be covert if you go back into Geim. And as a reminder, we've kind of got 3 paths in front of us here. You don't all, you could split up and do all of them if you want to. But the 3 paths Jasper came up with where you could return to the crime scene and investigate for clues regarding this mysterious third party. You could head into Geim to try and find out if there are any high-profile targets for assassination who might have attended the circus or any rumors that came out of the circus afterwards. Or you could explore the mountain range around the cabin and look for signs of the creature that was outside the cabin last night. You're also welcome to come up with your own plan of something to do, but we are now at the stage where you as the players exercise your autonomy and make some choices.
Was that note you said, was Jasper there this morning and already left?
Yes.
Did he leave a door?
I mean, he went out through the door. He left a note on the door that said, "Nice door."
Thank you. So make sure he didn't haul one up for nothing. Great.
I'm thinking I would like to go into Geim and do some covert investigating in regards to the circus and who might have been behind that or who was the target.
Has been a while since we've been in Geim.
Yeah, I know some fellas in the seedy underbelly that maybe have heard a thing or two.
I need to restock on my tea supplies. So, I say we head to Geim.
Field trip then?
Are you all going together, or do you all want to go different places?
At worst, I think we should go in teams of 2. Does anyone?
Where are you thinking of going, Armis?
Well, I back when I was even more of a piece of crap, I knew some not pleasant fellas, some criminals, and I still have a few ties that I could go and try and.
You need to be so hard on yourself, Armis.
Nah, it's I'm not proud of myself, but it's all good. Yeah, I would like to go and try and find that. If anyone wants to tag along, I'm more than used to going by myself and navigating that, but.
I could be your bodyguard.
I was gonna say, I didn't want to push you, but I was like, if you want to be my muscle, I think it'd be pretty fun for me.
I've been known to take an odd job.
I would love to follow you, Davroid, on an investigation. It's been a while since I was a beat cop, shall we say.
That sounds perfect. Get to see what it's like in Geim.
Sounds great.
Indeed.
And so you all head down the other mountain path, right? There's 2 of them that lead up to this cabin. One of them leads to kind of the plains and the wilderness where the circus had set up just outside the mountains and off into the distance to the west where that weird cloud is. And the other one leads down through the mountain range to one of the big mountain lakes, which kind of double as reservoirs for the city of Geim, and just beyond that, an entrance into the city. And so you kind of step through this entrance and into the bustling city of Geim, 10 tiers of city vertically. Frode has a hand up. Yes.
As preparation, now that I've gotten a little more used to it, I will go ahead and put on my blindfold.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
Frode's going to put on a blindfold. This is a good catch. I was literally about to hit you with hats in the next 2 or 3 lines of exposition. So well done. Well done.
So I gotta dig in my pack. I'll catch up with you guys. I gotta find my blindfold.
Let's just follow Davroid and Willard first. So Davroid and Willard, as you enter into Geim, like I was saying, Geim is a vertical city. So it has 10 tiers. They get wealthier the lower you go. So like this 10th tier up here at the top is the poorest tier of Geim. And the next 2 tiers after that range, tier 10 through 7, is where Davroid, as a detective, practices his normal profession. And so you've got your detective offices on the 8th tier. Davroid, if you wanted to go down there looking for clues or kind of sniffing around notes and things, or you'd be welcome to. You've got your mentor, Arlena, who works on the 6th tier, so that's a little bit closer to the wealthier side of town. You could go down there and visit with her. Or you could come up with another thing. What is your vibe? What would you like to do?
I think he would start at his office and see if there's any case notes about just anything relating to the spider circus or high-profile targets that would have been there.
Excellent. So you pass through the 10th tier, through the 9th tier. You avoid, panhandlers, salespeople. You see a couple of those weird delvers with their outfits, 4 Guys, Ventures, and Vibes, trying to recruit people for, mystery dungeon delves and whatever. Pass by all that stuff, ignore them, and you head down to the City Watch on the 8th tier. And as you arrive, the office is very quiet. It's midday, which means that there's not very many people necessary here. Most of them are out, among the crowds, trying to be available in case they're necessary to respond to something. It's a pretty typical like office cube farm layout, so you've got probably like a cube somewhere off in the corner. You're hardly ever here because of the nature of your undercover work. So you have like you're probably like shoved next to the printer kind of a thing, like off to the side by the water cooler, the printer, and the trash can. And you see 2 people in the office who are just other people who work for the watch, and you see, it looks like your boss, Nappert, is in his office. The blinds are drawn, so you can't see what he's doing, but he would leave them up if he wasn't in.
Yeah. He's gonna first go to the filing cabinets and just see if there's any labels in regards to it. Since it was fairly recent, he probably assumes that there's at least like an open folder for it.
In what's it?
Like the anything regarding like the catastrophe at the spider circus.
Oh, at the circus, sure.
Yeah.
And Willard is just gonna try to look like he belongs, like kind of stand next to him, like, oh yes, I'm your friend, I'm here, kind of trying to blend in.
It's bring your tiny friend to work day. Willard, roll. You can choose what ability you want to lean into, but roll something to look natural and convincing, and we're gonna ease it by a step because this is sort of your wheelhouse too.
Okay, I'll say, let's say sneaking. He's just trying to make as little noise as he can.
Okay.
Kind of just stay in the darker parts of the corners. Not trying to look suspiciously sneaky, just oh, I didn't see you over there in the darker part of the room. That sort of thing. So
I would say in this instance, that's probably like an intellect-powered sneak, right? Where it's like he's trying to be very cognizant of where do I step? How much noise do I make? So I would say base that one on intellect. And Davroid, go ahead and roll to kind of investigate the files here. In fact, you don't need to. This is your office, your filing system. And so as you look through, you easily find they do have one for the Spider Circus, although it seems like it's kind of perfunctory. There's not very much, there's not very many papers. It's not a very fat manila envelope. But there is, an envelope in there that you could pull out and look through if you want. And that's what you find.
Willard rolled a 10 on his sneaking, and he is trained in it.
Great.
So
I'll, I guess, kneel down towards Willard and show, read the folder with him. I read the contents with him.
Great. You see in there, this looks like the first page of the report is one of those things that somewhere centrally the Ruby Gemstone Guardians, who are kind of in charge of domestic matters within the city of Geim, the Ruby Guardians will send out these missives to every tier's watch. So it's kind of like a standard form that's been filled out saying like, hey, there's going to be an event outside the city. Here are the people who are in charge of guarding it, blah, blah, blah. And you can see that there are a couple of people. It's like a lottery. So a couple of people from your office had been selected to be working security and whatnot. And a couple of people from other different tiers. But you can see Nappert's signature at the bottom of the form. And you know that that indicates that a bribe was taken for him to not, or for this office to not participate in that kind of security work. Other than that, the next page that you see in there is a detailed layout of the circus. So you can see how it was supposed to be set up, where it was supposed to be, essentially like what ground does their permit cover? You know, like all the board logistical city planning type stuff. They have all that stuff. The circus had all that stuff in order. You're just seeing a copy of it here. You notice that there is a spot deeper in the woods that they had gained permission to store their extra wagons and supplies and things that nobody looked yesterday. And the last thing that you see is a just very hastily written report. This is another one of those centralized missives. It's a report from the Ruby Guardians relating to the actual incident or outbreak of magic from the previous night. You note that there is a conspicuous lack of the Gold Wardens anywhere in there, and that the Ruby Guardians have taken permission, or credit, I should say, for having cleaned up the incident and all those things. They also did not discover anything to do with the caltrop you found. They think that it was a random outbreak of magic that just happened on its own and that the incident has been quelled. And those are the details that you're able to find there. As that's happening, Willard, you notice just the very briefest, like momentary lifting of the blinds of, you know, whoever the boss man is, his office. It's like, oh, someone peeked out through the blinds there out in your direction just for a second and probably saw, you know, Davroid reading and you standing there and then dropped the blind down again. Nothing else happens. You just notice that someone kind of saw you or was there.
I think big corner office took a peek at us.
That's my boss. Just let's avoid him if we can.
Do we have what we need? Are we ready to?
Yep. And Davroid will quickly pull out his notepad and hastily, in nervousness, jot down the location of where the wagon, or like where they were supposed to store stuff, and then we'll revisit that, I guess, when we're back investigating in the site.
I'm gonna hit you with a GM intrusion here. That as you're writing that down, like the most incriminating part, where you're like making a note for yourself of where in the woods this thing was, one of your coworkers, one of the two other detectives who's in the office, you know, spots you, walks over, and is like, "Oh, hey, Davroid, I didn't realize you were back in from undercover work. How are things going? What you working on now? Which file you got there? Do you need any help?"
Davroid will stand up. I was just reading about the circus incident.
Just taking your own notes on it there.
Well, he was trying to teach this whole time.
Hey there, little guy. I didn't realize you brought a buddy in with you.
Oh yes, I am.
Oh yes, he's.
I am. Yes, I am your cousin. Distant related. We're in a program called the Cousin Program.
As you split for an alibi with this other professional detective, I am going to need you to roll an intellect check to make your story convincing.
It's not going to be convincing.
The difficulty here is 5. You can choose which of you rolls. You're working together here to try and create it.
Here's what I'll do. Willard will use his spin identity ability. Here's his goal. He's going to continue with this really stupid excuse, and he wants these detectives to call him on it, and then he's going to use his spin identity to then say, "Congratulations, you passed the test for figuring out who I was and kicking me out as a suspicious figure. This has been an inspection. You passed."
Nice.
That is going to be his goal.
Great.
So It costs 2 intellect if they are. It looks like what level? I can't tell. Or maybe it's for multiple creatures. So how many people
Just one.
am I trying to fool?
One person.
Oh, okay. So it costs me 2 intellect to do that.
Okay, great.
From my pool.
So the conversation goes exactly as you prescribed. Where like the longer you're spluttering, the more skeptical this person looks.
It's like
Davroid, what is going on right now?
Sick.
This is not. I don't know what you're trying to convince me of, but this is not it. What is really going on here? So I'm gonna have to ask you to leave if you can't give me a real excuse for why you're in this office.
Congratulations. I am an inspector from the City Watch, from from the first tier.
Oh, he like straightens up to attention. Mm-hmm.
You have passed the test of kicking out suspicious figures from the file cabinet area. Congratulations. I will be writing this in my report.
And Willard takes Davroid's notebook and like scribbles down.
Willard reaches up to be handed Davroid's notebook. Willard is a 2-foot-tall mole. As
Davroid hands it to him.
As this exchange happens, when Willard looks down to write on the notebook, the guy looks at Davroid with like this really intense look on his face, and then frantically behind him is like brushing clutter and stuff off of the desk behind it, just whatever cube it is. Just like trying to make it look cleaner for the inspector. You know, he's totally convinced. Just like,
well done, well done.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You have passed with flying colors, and that is the end of the inspection for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And he goes back to his desk and sits down and does not look even a little bit in your direction the rest of the time that you're here in the office.
And Willard will just like confidently, with his short little legs, pad out of the office.
Davroid will put the folder back, take his notebook, and exit the office.
Excellent. As the two of you leave the office, we're going to cut from here back to Armis Thrupp and Frode the Forsaken. Frode now blindfolded so that he doesn't see anybody's hats. I assume just kind of letting Armis lead you through the city. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. And can I have tried to make a little disguise for myself? I want to like throw my coat over myself, get more hunched, use my cane sword in cane form, and have made a very fun little beard out of spiderweb and dirt and mud.
That sounds amazing. Do you have any abilities related to disguise?
I have deception. I'm trained in deception.
So roll an intellect task for your deception, and we're going to add 3 for your talent in deception. And then if you have anything else you want to add, you can. This will determine how hard it is for others to see through your disguise.
Does me standing beside him as his bodyguard, intimidating and strong
and blind,
show any? That is just I'm a mystical bodyguard.
I don't think it modifies it either direction.
It's a 14 on the die.
14 on the die. Okay, so 14 plus your 3 bonus essentially is a 17, which is the equivalent of a level 5 disguise. You head into the city, and where are you going, Armis?
I'm going to try and make my way towards whatever little seedy area I might.
Are you trying to meet up with Frankie?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I want to find Frankie.
Miss, how should I refer to you?
You could just call me Jack while we're here, I guess. That's just. And do you want a fun nickname?
Yeah, you can give me a fun one. Go ahead.
Jork. Jack and Jork.
Jack and Jork. All right.
That's gonna be us, and I'm gonna have a slightly different voice on, so that people, I'm not the most popular guy, but I just in case I bump into anybody, I wanna try and make myself a little bit more.
I don't think I can do a different voice, but I'll see what I can do.
These people don't know you. I think we'll be all right. If you want a different voice, that's fine.
Just don't change how you walk. That's how I'm following you. By your footsteps.
I'm a little more hunched over, but I'll keep the same kind of general pace that I can try and remember. Does that work?
Okay.
All right, great. We head towards wherever the heck Frankie is. I assume near some smelly little hole somewhere.
You head down to the 5th tier, the exact intersection point between the underworld of Geim and the rich folk of Geim. 5th tier is the middle ground of the city, a place where nobles and paupers can rub shoulders and no one will think anything of it. You pass by that favored club and bar, Grub Bugs, Clubs and Mugs, and you step into a back alley on the next pendant where There's like, dirt and trash kind of scattered about through the alley. There's, some guy is just like passed out on the back steps of a restaurant, just like completely unconscious. And at the end, there is a little trash can fire lit, and there are two people standing at the fire, and one of them is a dirt folk in a crocodile suit. He's got a massive it just says massive hat, so I'm not sure how you interpreted massive hat when you told me how Frankie looked, but it's a massive hat on a dirt folk. So whatever that means, he's got this massive hat with cigarettes in the ribbon around the hat, like a pack of cigarettes in there. He's wearing a denim jacket and tight leather pants, this little mole folk. And as you walk up towards the group of them, it's him and it's one other guy who's a dwarf, and he's standing on like a little crate or box so that he can get to the trash can fire. And as he sees you coming, he looks over and he's like, who are you?
A friend of a friend. I hear that I can speak with you about some bad things going on around town. Is that right?
Friend of a friend, eh?
As he pulls a cigarette out of his hat, Armis pulls a cigarette out of his coat. 2 cigarettes, in fact.
Who's the big guy?
This is my friend, my muscle. Keeps me safe as I'm going around treacherous little alleys with seedy little cool looking. He says "grr" sometimes.
Friend of which friend?
A gentleman named Armis Thrupp.
Johnny, hit the bricks. The other guy who's at the trash can fire walks away. And as he walks away, he leans in and he goes, Armis?
Pulls down my beard. I knew I couldn't get you, but I thought it'd be fun to come like this.
Armis, wait. You have never been very good at disguises. But this
Come on.
is a new low.
Come on, it looks good. It looks good this time. I'm like really small.
I thought you were out of the business. Didn't you get caught?
Some situations has changed slightly, and
Are we still pretending?
You can still pretend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Wait, pretend what? He like look. You can. This is now the face of someone who's looking for the wire. It's like, pretend what? What are you doing here, Armis?
All right. Keep your dang hat on, buddy. Keep your. Good. No, look, everything's on the level. I'm dipping my toes back in. Don't worry about what I just said. Frode. I didn't say nothing. Just keep the blindfold on.
Okay. I was gonna ask, but okay.
It's more cigarettes than hat, to be fair. Now,
okay.
I'm dipping my toes back in. I have a problem that I need, and I came to you for help because I know that I can always count on you. Isn't that right, Frankie?
Roll something. You can pick which skill you're leaning into. It's probably intellect to try and like pull on the threads of your past relationship, because he's spooked now by like he doesn't know who Frode is, and you're clearly not volunteering who Frode is. Also, Frode, roll an intellect check to resist the urge to fall into your.
I was having a panic attack there about knowing.
You now know there's a hat.
God, no, I forgot he had such a big hat. That was before we had the knowledge of this
I let
issue.
the players make these contacts, just so you know, chat.
I forgot he's just as beautiful as I remember it.
I didn't declare I was using that first, so I won't. And I rolled a 16.
Oh, that's enough. You successfully resist on this occasion the urge to destroy the hat, but you can still, your pulse like kind of picks up a little bit, and there's a knowledge there, but you master yourself. The blindfold is helping, the desensitization a little bit.
There is no hat.
Great.
There is no hat.
I'm gonna just remind Frankie,
Like, look, did I ever seem like the kind of guy to pull one over on you?
That's a 19 on the die.
19 on the die, critical success with a minor effect. So he starts off a little skeptical here, but you obviously bring him around. What's the minor effect you want to add to the conversation?
The minor effect is that he takes his hat off and just that he tucks it away somewhere. He has his buddy Jack or whatever it was, Johnny come back out and take his hat, put it inside because he's getting serious.
I don't know. We've set him up as so attached to the hat. I don't know if that's a minor effect.
That's true. He said always.
I got it.
Why is he sitting on the hat?
Can there just be enough smoke that it covers the hat?
He reaches up and he lifts off the huge hat that he's wearing. He goes, Johnny. And he flips it over so it's like the flat side is up and the head is down, and he hands it off. And there's like a beanie with another band around it and another pack of cigarettes in it that he's wearing underneath that hat. So he still has the beanie on.
He's comfy now.
So did they nab you? Did you slip away? Why'd you fall off the map? Nobody retires from this business.
They pinched me a little lightly. I was in the midst of a job, and my feelings got the best of me. I got attached, and it kind of ruined everything, and it kind of made it all fall apart. But I'm doing what I can to bounce.
It was a girl, wasn't it?
It's always a girl. Come on.
I told you.
That's not what I'm here for, Frankie. I don't need...
You don't get to have feelings in the business, okay? So if you're coming to me looking for work, then you can't have any feelings.
Just because you've never been able to make a connection romantically with anyone doesn't mean it's possible, Frankie.
Wait, what define feelings?
What's that, Jork? What's that?
Jork, right, sorry, Jack.
You can talk. I don't know if it's worth doing this.
You got over there.
With he's good.
It's nothing about sentimentalities. It's more about the fact that technically you having a feeling about feelings is a feeling within itself, if you think about it. And you can never really escape the feelings that
Armis,
you have.
what's this about? Where are you
Look,
here?
I'm gonna cut to the chase. I need some information. Is there anyone? Do you know anything about someone that messed with a circus that came to town recently? We found a caltrop that spooked a unicorn, and we're having trouble finding it. Someone was sneaking around where we live, and it's causing a bit of a stir.
Mr. Gibbs' Arachnobatic Wonderland. I might know something about it, but it's gonna cost you.
Come on, have I not paid my dues, Frankie? Years of helping.
Have you? I actually don't know this about Armis. Is Armis like an above and beyond guy, or has it always been transactional with Frankie?
He was like a very much just kind of in it for the business kind of thing. Like I don't know if he's really doing it specifically out of goodwill, but he's done a lot of jobs.
Here's what I appreciate about you, buddy. You have always kept your ledger balanced. But that is not the same as earning favors. We don't owe each other nothing. Now, I want to help you, but I've got things I need help with too,
All right. I thought being a top tier little kind of assistant was worth something, but what the hell do you want?
You fell off the map after a job 3 years ago. That's real Employee of the Month material.
What do you want? What's
Jack,
up?
Armis, I have something. I don't know if he will value it, but maybe.
Let's ask him what he wants first. What's
He pulls out a rolled up parchment in a scroll case, wax sealed, and he hands it to you. It's like a tiny little thing. He says, I want one of these.
Armis takes it and looks at it very cautiously, worried that it's going to be a gig.
It is an artifact, a piece of manufactured technology, so to speak. It's labeled Mana Vault, and what you've got here is like a sort of miniaturized version of the blueprint. It looks like some kind of experimental device. A lot of it is kind of above your head. You are not an artificer. But you gather that it is some kind of experimental device being researched and developed in a partnership between the Adventuring Guild, Four Guys Ventures and Vibes, and the artificing company Edison. And that there is at least one prototype of it in the Edison, or in the Geim office of Four Guys Ventures and Vibes on the 10th tier. And he would like you to steal one and deliver it to him in exchange for the information you want.
What is this? What's this gonna do for you, Frankie? You're sending me all the way to the 10th level to do something for just a bit of info? This seems a little bit.
Tell me you're not trying to track down that assassin. Oh, did I let spill that there was an assassin there? Oh, it's too bad I didn't say his name. That would have been really convenient for you, wouldn't it?
Who's he trying to kill, Frankie? What do you...
Think of the ledger, Armis. The ledger is sad. The ledger needs balancing. Bring balance to the ledger.
I mean, Armis, to be fair, these kind of transactions transcend words. You really should bring something to the table.
You're very correct. Can I at least want to know what you were going to offer, Frankie? It might be close to this.
What I'm going to offer? I'm offering you information. I'm
asking what my partner was going to offer you before we found out what you really wanted. I'm just kind of curious.
Frode,
what were you going to
Should I tell you with an ear?
You can whisper it to me, and I'll see if it's just going to piss him off.
I technically have... people like this are nefarious and deal with weapons of some sorts, and technically I have a bomb in the form of a cipher with
What are you talking about? You got a bomb? Frode, what do you mean you got a bomb?
You remember the
Give us a second, Frankie, and I fully turn away. It's like,
Oh, you're carrying around like a bomb? Like, how big of a bomb worth of a cipher is this, Frode? Like, how long have you had this?
I've already activated the cipher, so it's now just a marble I carry around, and it has the same kinetic energy as a portion of what was happening at the spider circus, you know.
Oh my god, it's the condensed fire?
Well, no, it was kinetic energy.
I got a feeling it's not gonna. I'm afraid that he's gonna take the bomb and then also still want us to do the job. I'd rather not him have the firepower, but just in case, do you have anything silly in your pockets that in case he's expecting something big right now and he's gonna be now that we piqued his interest.
Frode turns out his pockets and there's literally just a marble. That's it.
Just give me the marble in case they ask. I'll show him a marble and just be like, I got a fun friend. Is that okay?
Oh wait, okay, Armis. If you have qualms about it, you technically don't have to explain exactly what it does, and in 3 days out time you'll find out.
Before I get back to him, let me get this straight. You want me to give him what is effectively a bomb, not explain to him why it's important, and then have it explode on him in 3 days? Is that what you're telling me?
I didn't say that.
But are you telling me that in 3 days this will explode?
Oh, yes, that will happen.
All right, we might be able to kill two birds with one stone. I might be... All right. Okay.
Oh my god.
I don't know how much I want to say out loud, but I'm thinking if we do this, he's not a great guy, but we could give him, he might accept the trinket just for the hell of it. And then 3 days later he explodes and then it'll disrupt his operations and us getting him this thing. Well, but then he
would only ever use it to blow a wall open for a heist or something, right? He wouldn't use it for
let's hang on to the bomb. I'm gonna turn back around.
You turn back around, he is gone. In the place of where he was standing, there is a small knife pinned through a parchment that says 1 week and has a drop location for you to make the exchange.
Were we really turned around that long? He wrote it down.
A bit.
He's either got 1 week pre-prepared on a thing, or he wrote it down and we didn't hear it. Either way.
We did discuss for a bit. I apologize.
We can talk. No, it's fine. We can talk about this on the way. I'm very much stressed out.
The alley is now empty of anyone except the unconscious guy on the steps.
Can I geez Louise, does he look cold? The unconscious guy.
He looks unconscious, so I don't know.
Oh dear.
What are you fussing about over there, Armis?
I'm just upset. There's a guy just laying here. I don't want to leave him alone, but it's also not a problem.
Okay. And Frode picks him up.
We're gonna, let's take him with us.
Add unconscious guy to your inventory?
If anyone asks, we're worried about him. We can drop him off and the grubs and bugs.
Yeah, there's an Allgreens on the 9th tier that you can stop by and leave him there. They've probably got a little minute clinic or something.
Yeah, let's just talk. I'm worried about him. So I just hope he's gonna be okay. And we walk away very stressed out because now Armis has got to fucking do another goddamn job.
Armis is feeling great about it, I can tell. We're gonna cut from here back to Davroid and Willard. The two of you are now out on the I think you went to your office first, right? So you're on the 8th tier of Geim, just kind of walking, strolling around. I guess maybe absent-mindedly. You're just going about your business. What are you doing next?
Yeah, the next place I want to go, I do want to go see my mentor on the 6th tier.
Oh, excellent. You head down to the 6th tier, a much more refined environment, if you will. Things are starting to become cleaner. Things are getting a little bit more put together. It's still not like rich nobility or anything, but these are tradespeople down here. So, you're walking past blacksmiths who are working the anvil. The sound's kind of clanging and ringing down the long bridges that make up this tier of the city. You're hearing the friendly shouts of food vendors at market stalls. People are hawking burritos and stuff just out there doing their thing. And as you walk down this tier towards the central pendant where the elevator that would connect it, or the verticulator that connects it vertically to the tier above and below are, you also move towards the gemstone hall of this tier, which is where the City Watch is based. And so as you move into that area, you step in through the 6th tier City Hall and walk in. There's sort of there's like a DMV on one side, and there's a sort of like the City Watch is on the other side. And so you go over to the City Watch side and you're looking and you don't see her immediately, but then she steps out of a meeting or something, and there is Arlena Morcaine, who is your mentor. Let me see if I've got a description for her. I don't know if you made one. Oh, yes. She's an elf. She's a female elf with silver hair, pale skin, and she is dressed business casual. So she's a kind of like a slim build, and she walks out, she sees you, her eyes kind of widen like in recognition, and like she's pleased to see you, but she's not, making any notice or call out of you here. She looks a little surprised to see you, kind of showing your face in a police office, so to speak. She puts down some papers on her desk, kind of stacks things up, and then walks over to you past there's, a row of stanchions where people would have to stand in line to go and file a report or whatever. She kind of walks past all of that stuff and comes out to see you. Davroid, hello.
Hello.
To do we owe the pleasure? Who's your friend? Hello. She kind of crouches down and holds out a hand to shake. She's not condescending at all when she does it. She just gets on your level and holds out a hand.
Okay. Willard will shake and kind of look at Davroid, like kind of trying to like.
Davroid will say, he's helping me with work.
Helping you with work.
It's a job, Shadow. I am trying to change career paths.
Changing career paths from what?
Oh, odds and ends. I've been a janitor most of my life, actually. Cleaning things. Keeping things clean, like my fur.
And kind of he'll like brush off his white fur.
It does look pristine. I've never met a light furred dirt folk before.
There's not many of us, but thank you. Yes, anyways, this police work is very interesting.
And he'll kind of like look and nod at Davroid like he's kind of like an old man kind of trying to just seem interested in something. Like,
yes, very.
She looks back at Davroid, and as she does, a little bit of the like cordiality falls out of her tone, and she goes, Why is he shadowing to do the kind of work you do, or the kind of work I do?
The kind of work you do.
Is that why you brought him here?
Partially. I also wanted to discuss some of what we're working on with you. Do you have time? Do you have an hour for lunch?
That depends. Is this an assignment from your boss, or is this an assignment from somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Yeah, I've got an hour for lunch. And she kind of just walks out with you. You find your way to a nice restaurant where people are eating and drinking and generally not paying attention to you. being that this is the 6th tier and you're getting closer to like, you know, centers of commerce and such, people don't notice the like, oh, it's an elf and a dirt folk and a dwarf. Like that doesn't stand out that much on this tier. So you're fairly incognito just by being in this public space. You don't have to worry too much about eavesdroppers. As you sit down, she orders a water.
Water and ale for me too.
A water, please. Thank you.
So I read the report on the circus incident, and I was hoping that you might have a little bit more information than the general report.
More information in what regard? I mean, that was handled by some of the Gemstone Guardians. That wasn't our purview, being that was outside the city walls.
Any high-profile people attending that some people might want to target? Maybe, like, I guess who was on detail?
Concerned about high-profile individuals, are you? Let me pull up some notes here. And she pulls a set of papers and scrolls that are, it's not like she knew exactly what you were going to ask about, but she just has the day's reports kind of in her little portfolio that she carries with her. And so she's kind of paging through, seeing if she's got anything relevant for you. I don't see any of the productive detail assignments in here, although I think those were on the general missive, so you've probably already seen who was assigned to the carnival, but I do see on here a few names. Let's see. Oh, it looks like Elaine Mollusk was at the circus. Without
trying, he's masking it, but Davroid, you sense Willard cringe at that name.
And I also see here, this has got to be a pseudonym. She highlights a name and hands it to you. It is written in, how many languages do you speak? Or which languages do you speak? It's a different language than your normal one, but you speak it, so I'm just trying to pick one of those.
Oh, okay. Where are languages?
You may not have written any down. You would have to write them in your skills list if you took extra languages.
I don't see any. So probably Dwarvish and Common. He's a dwarf, so
sure.
Dwarvish.
So maybe it's written in Elvish then, and she just gives you the translation because she is an elf.
Okay.
So she hands it to you. This is Elvish for storm, which is like, I mean, I know there are people who just name their kids weird things, but this seems like a pseudonym or an alias to me. So this is probably a person of, some import, maybe a foreign dignitary who didn't want their name to be known, or trying to avoid being noticed or something like that. But anyway, so there is this Storm who attended, and there was Elaine Mollusk, and that's all. Oh, no. Look, I see here on the guest list, we've also got 3 of the Gemstone Guardians. Interesting that they would have been attending and didn't show up in the report for the cleanup.
Does it say which 3?
It does, but it doesn't matter for our purposes.
Okay.
I don't know which 3 it was.
Oh, okay.
Emerald, Pyrite, and Sapphire. Boom.
Interesting. I wasn't there, but I have reason to believe that it was more than just wild magic.
More than wild magic in what way? You're not saying that puppet thing was animated by some threat actor?
I'm not saying it.
What proof do you have?
I can't divulge that at the moment. You'll just have to trust me on that one.
Did this proof come through your office? Because you know that we can't trust anything your office...
This is all very interesting. This police work is fascinating to me. The words you're saying back and forth, I have no idea what it means.
God. I rest assured that it is not through my office.
What are you doing? What have you gotten yourself into?
I can also not divulge that.
I don't know, I just thought we trusted each other.
We do.
Well,
and you have to trust that I cannot tell you.
And she's kind of like gone a little bit cold, but she's got the papers in her hands and stuff. Is there anything else you need?
Willard, is there anything you'd be interested in learning about?
Oh, what do you do? on a daily basis in your job that makes you excited to clock in the morning?
She gives you a lengthy and detailed description of what it is to be a managing detective, which is to say that the entire detective force of the 6th tier reports to her. So she sifts information, determines whether it's worth following up on, and then assigns it to people. And then she also mentors new blood. And if anybody runs into issues and needs backup in the intellectual sense, where it's I've got all the clues but I can't put them together, that's the kind of thing that they would bring her in on. So that's what her work is most days. She is very great. What makes her excited to clock in every morning is that she does not have to interact with the people who are filing reports anymore. She's very pleased to be at the stage where it's only the important ones make it to her, and she is just in charge of making the investigations that matter happen. And that's what she loves about her job.
Well, thank you for telling me and giving us your time. I know Davroid here has been working very hard.
It sure seems so. And she bids you a very cordial and somewhat stiff farewell and heads back to her office and leaves the two of you.
I thought we were trying to maintain cover. What was that?
Had to divulge some
Your bill,
information.
gentlemen. And someone shows up with the bill for lunch. We cut from there to Frode and Armis, who have now left the covert meeting with Frankie. Armis, where do you think you would have gone next? Or Frode, if you want to get in there and direct where to go next.
I think I would have been trying to try and meet back up with the other fellas on the way, also trying to discuss with Frode what they think we should do.
Do you think as a group you would have decided to meet back up at the cabin or in the city?
I think probably in the city. Anyone disagree?
I would imagine at a common meeting point.
For example, grub bugs, clubs and mugs.
Sure.
Is there on the way there, can I make a quick detour?
Of course you can.
And I can carry Frode, what's going on over there?
Oh, sorry, I got to crink out my neck.
Sorry, just making sure.
A little bit. It's it gets stiff, especially carrying someone.
Yeah.
People are looking at you a little weird, being blindfolded and carrying an unconscious person.
Taking him to a clinic. Calm down. He's passed out. We're helping.
This is helping.
This is helping. This is what helping looks like. So the layers go deeper into the city, correct? They keep going down and down.
Yes. So the first tier is the lowest tier, and that one is the royal grounds basically. So it's only the royal palace and then their staff and employees. The second tier is the barracks for the Gemstone Guardians and the sort of National Guard / army, and then above that it's just from rich to poor. So the third tier, and then as it goes up, it gets poorer.
Right. Can I try and find? I had written down that I had a little spot, that a little rooftop that I could go and see kind of where.
100% you can.
Yeah.
So you head down to the fourth tier of Geim, which is you're now into rich quarters. So these are master crafts people, and they are artists. They're so it's it's not tradespeople, but it is still kind of a retail commerce focused economy on this tier. And on this tier, one of the shops has a furnace and stuff that kind of hangs out over the side, and you have found a place where you can stand up there obscured by the smoke of the chimney, but you can see down to the third tier, the particular establishment that you're thinking of, that you kind of keep an eye on. Frode just smoking this unconscious person.
Armis.
Well, we're standing right now.
It's we're a little bit deeper into the city. It's
we could say you've dropped them off already. You found an Allgreens and dropped them off.
Yeah. We could.
Those of you listening at home, Frode just mimed literally just throwing the person into the building.
That's gonna get him right to the front of the line, Frode.
That took care of that. Glad I could help.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take us off track, but the conversation with that fella made me a little homesick, to say the least.
Oh, is it the deals? I can make a deal with you.
What the? No, it's not the deals. I had a lady that that kind of ruined my life, and it was my fault, but it wasn't supposed to happen.
Frode sits down and faces your general direction.
Probably best to keep the blindfold on, but if you were able to take a peek, you could see out ahead there's a very nice white building with big bay windows, some flowers in the sides and the little pots, and there's a very pretty lady down there that's hopefully forgotten about me by now.
Armis, it's okay. You know, I'm here to listen. Sometimes the transaction is I listen, and you lessen the burden.
I just want to paint the scene, especially for our Spotify listeners here, that it's a giant rock person wearing a blindfold sitting next to a humanoid spider creature wreathed in smoke from the chimney of like a smith's bellows, kind of sitting out over the expanse of, 100-foot gap between here and the third tier, looking down towards this White House that they're talking about. So they're kind of like ringed in by the smoke, almost creating a separate little world for the two of them.
I worked with Frankie for quite some time before. My original gig, I used to do small time stuff. I would nab things. I didn't get too much in the business of killing folk, but I did some nasty stuff. It came to that there were some higher paying jobs that first you needed to kind of infiltrate into the upper echelons of society, where some scummy guy with a beard made of dirt and spider webs was not really not the ideal look. And so the original plan was to weasel my way into the heart of some dumb young lady who was foolish enough to take a rat like me. And it worked. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a bit of a charmer.
You did definitely charmed me.
Yeah. But so one thing led to another. She was a lot nicer and a lot more genuine than I expected, and ended up pulling the wool over my eyes, because then I was the one that fell for her. And I do a lot of jobs. I would help get policies in place to make things easier for Frankie, or try and install somebody here and there. It came to the point where there was a job that someone was going to come take care of Jasper. Folks didn't much care for him to be around, and I caught wind of it, and he doesn't much care for me. He didn't really trust me back then either, but I always respected him, and so I ended up being the rat, and they caught the guy, but then they brought me in, figured out everything that I knew, and trading off some of the little secrets that I knew for the ones that I already gave away. The compromise was, they would say that I was the target of an assassination, and I was basically left to be imprisoned in the lower levels, never to really leave Geim, but never to move higher in it and just kind of rot away. So, yeah, it's just tough to be back here, Frode.
Well, I understand. We've all gotten trapped in follies that we've engaged in, but the way you speak of this young woman, I don't know if she's a spider or a dwarven, or any other race, but she sounds like she made you happy, and I don't think that's something you should easily throw away.
Yeah.
I think we should try to refigure that one out.
To say the least. Yeah.
I got some advice for you.
I'd be more than happy to hear it.
As old as I am, you'd be surprised to hear that I know I'm wild and crazy, and or at least to your standards, I'm sure, but I had a family once.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find your partner that means the world to you, that when you wake up, the sun beams down on you, and you realize it's just her smile. You can't throw that away. But what am I to say? I'm just a hypocrite after all. But you can make amends. We can figure this out. I believe in you, Armis. I know you were saying there's a beautiful White House, but maybe one day, and I understand that right now might not be it. I know some social norms, and right now we kind of have like our commitments. Maybe once these commitments are done.
Armis is just fiddling with a ring, a gold ring that he has on his finger. Yeah, that would... I think it might be a little more complicated than that, but it would be nice. Even if I could just go and say hi one more time. She doesn't have to know who I am, but I don't know. Just to see her at least would be... There's a kid down there too, you know.
You have a child?
It's a big part. I probably should have said it earlier, but yeah, there's a kid in there too. It's pretty hairy. They've been left alone for a while, and I don't think she'd be too happy to see me one way or another. Come on. We were having a good time.
Well, maybe, all right. I got an idea. Write a letter.
A letter?
Yes. And I'll deliver it.
I'll think about it, Frode. That would be nice, but we'll think on it. We got to figure out what
you got to take time to write the letter. I understand.
I got to write the letter. We got to figure out what's going on with these blueprints that are probably going to be very dangerous to hand and to some common criminal, and it's going to be a whole thing. I probably shouldn't have come up here. Let's go meet the guys. Let's go meet the guys.
I'm sorry. I'm working on the listening thing. Sometimes I'm great at it. Sometimes I'm bad.
You did really good. It's I shouldn't have brought it up. I came up here.
Frode just like kind of just looks around unsure all of a sudden, like, how did I get up here?
I'll help you back down. It don't matter. Let's get out of here.
I swear there was a staircase somewhere.
Just falls off the side.
Davroid and Willard, are you doing anything before you meet back up with Armis and Frode?
Yeah, I wanted to have a conversation with Willard.
Okay.
on our way back.
On your way to
Yep.
to Grubbug's Clubs and Mugs.
I mean, yes, we're supposed to be undercover, and I tried to be as vague as I could while giving her enough where we could get the information that we needed.
If you trust her, I mean, that's completely. She's not my contact. I just wasn't sure, whether I would be helpful in, continuing my cover or in saying, no, this is important. Please tell us.
I think we got what we needed to. But she knows too much, and she knows me too well for me to get away with any lies.
Well, she seems like a good teacher. I mean,
she is. She was.
I wish I had someone like that to guide me.
You have
along
me, old
this.
timer, and Davroid gives you a stern push on the back.
Oh, well, I'd like to think I can give you some guidance too. Where this is,
And he kind of he goes from kind of like laughing along to like his face kind of sinks, and he's like,
this is a tough business.
Don't I know it?
We don't want to let more people get hurt.
The club sounds begin reaching you as you approach Grubbug's Clubs and Mugs. The sound of the crowd inside talking, glasses clinking, the familiar sounds of the fight pit. It's the middle of the week, so the fight pit is not there's no like money on these fights or anything like that. But in the middle of the day, when no one's down there doing line dances and stuff, it's like sometimes the brawlers will just get down there and like have a good time. It's kind of like sparring. And as you enter, you see exactly as predicted that Armis Thrupp and Frode the Forsaken are at the bar having a grand old time, drinks in hand. Frode the Forsaken, as a reminder, you should be safe to take your blindfold off here. They have signs posted in Grubbug's Clubs and Mugs that hats are to be left on the hooks. And the hooks have little doors that close over top of them. So you are able to sit there and enjoy. Well, Frode's a source of good money for them. You've seen him in the fight pits. So they're accommodating. Frode's got this giant, like, Hematetian-sized stein, in front of him.
there you go.
Yes.
And all of you regroup. And I think on that note, we're going to bring tonight's adventure at the Wing Badger Tavern to a close.